Copenhagen and speak to Hans-Martin Füssel, a climate change adaptation expert at the European Environment Agency. Hans-Martin, thank you so much for your time. The modelling done over the past few years, did it predict what's happening now? I mean, obviously not to the day or the month, but what's happening generally around Central Europe right now?
Yes, unfortunately, those events are not a complete surprise. So the recent extreme weather events are in line with the modeling that we've done or that experts have done over the last couple of years. However, there's always an element also of chance and bad luck. And I have to say that the large land and sea warming that we saw in particular in the last 1.5 years, that was indeed also unexpected to experts. So this has contributed to those storms. The Mediterranean has been extremely warm, and that is one factor for those extreme floods that we see in the moment.
And is that warmth actually accelerating the crisis?
Yes, it is accelerating the crisis because there's more evaporation, more water in the air. So if it rains, the storm and the rains can be stronger than they would without climate change.
Hans-Martin, help us understand something so that we can continue the conversation to be a bit more precise. How much does your organization advise governments? Does it only provide facts and figures, or does it work closely with decision makers in different countries?
Well, we do support the development and the implementation of policies. One could call it advice. We work with governmental stakeholders, both in the member countries of the EA, including Turkey, but also with the European Commission and other stakeholders at the European level on, let's say, the long-term development of policies.
Yeah, okay. Therefore, when you speak to these decision makers, do you hear from them the idea that they may have to start to rethink how cities are built to be resilient against rising waters like this, or whether they be wildfires coming to major cities, those kind of climate crisis events, and how they affect cities where, of course, so many millions of people live?
Yes. In the last 2 years in particular, we see a very open atmosphere politically to our messages. Also, the European Commission, the designated commission, was presented earlier this week to the Parliament, including so-called mission letters, where the president of the commission tells the designated commissioners to focus on their work. And 6 of them have particular missions related to the adaptation to climate change. So it is the message is arriving at the highest levels of government, and we also see it being understood beyond, let's say, the environment and climate communities. So there's hope in that, but of course there's much to do in the detail to clarify who is responsible for what, who is paying for particular measures, what are acceptable level of risks.
How much worse does the modelling suggest things are going to become in the next few years or in the next decade or so? I'm
a bit hesitating to share the worst case scenarios, because we have a lot in our hands, both in the long term, how much we mitigate global heating, but also in the midterm, in the short term, how we improve flood management. I mean, there's a lot to do both within the cities in terms of mobile flood barriers, in terms of other areas, but also upstream. You can build water retention areas and so on. But if we're not acting, then flood damages could rise by the factor of around 15 in a pessimistic scenarios by the end of the century. So there's all reason to act.
Hans-Martin Füssel, we really appreciate you helping us understand what's happening to our planet and how we have to live through it. Thanks so much indeed.
You're very welcome.